Welcome to the day 5 of our 30 days AI automation challenge. Today we are going to be learning how to build this simple automation workflow. So we're going to learn how to, when somebody fills a form for you, and then of course from there the data will be translated to your Google Sheet, and on your Google Sheet what should happen. For example, like for today we are going to be using status of taxpayers. All right, so in your Google Sheet, those of them that are paying tax should receive a different email. Those of them that are not paying tax should receive a different email. So we are going to use a switch to differentiate the two of them. So this is what we are going to be learning how to build today. So the purpose of this is to use this to explain what is variables and expression. Is that okay? So this is exactly what we'll be building today. So let's go back to our n8n, and we're going to still use the n8n in the cloud, that is in the website. Is that you can see the one on the local host. The reason why I'm using this is so that I'm letting those who are using phone to know that you can still do this. Is that okay? It's only that you can't run it locally, but you can still run it for 14 days for free. Is that okay? So we will still use this one and of that. So the first thing we need to do is, this is the image of what we are building. So let's bring in a Google form, an on form submission. So we click on form submission, and then of course you can see that this is what you get. So the next thing to do is to create that form, and the form is actually a different form. Is that okay? So what we need to do is, we have this here, the form title is task status. All right, so the form status is task status. Is that okay? All right, so let me type it, and the expression, the description, you can put it if you want. I think we did that in the last class. Is that okay? So let's add another element, and we put first name. We did this in the last class, so I think this is not that hard if you go through that first class. First name. All right, and then I don't know why I'm always typing this wrong. All right, so you can see the text element type is text, and then add another form element, and here is last name. Last name. All right, so let's come here again, and then the element type again, leave it at text. The next form, let's add another one, and is email. All right, so email, and then please change it from text to email. Remember again, we did it. Is that okay? The next one, and which is the last one, is salary range or task range. Is that okay? Or no, salary range. All right, so see is salary range, and here you remove it from task and put it on drop down. Is that okay? Just the way we did it from the other one. And here we can have let's say 50 to 500, like we did in the other one, 500k. Let me put this one on 500k, 50k, and then let's add another form, another option, field option, and add 600k plus. All right, we can still add another one up to 3 if we want. You can leave it at 2, but let me just put 800k plus. Just put any one that you think you can. All right, and scroll down and scroll down, and we can see then respond to form. Let's click on here. So once you have clicked on this, all right, you can execute it and fill the form. Is that okay? You can actually execute it and fill the form. So let's do that. Click on here, execute, and this is the information. So let's just fill that simple of this information here. So let me just put in here, I've been putting this detail. All right, so let me select the salary range, and probably I will choose 600k, and I'll click on select, because this is important. This is the information that we'll be needing. Of course, we already have it here. If you come to table, it already has every information here. So let's close it, and then you can see that our form is already here. So we are done with this first step, and our next step is to now do this form. But before we do this form, I want you to actually go to your Google Sheet and create this form. Please name it and ensure that you know the name that you name the Google Sheet form. Remember, we did this from the last class as well. So I named this one first name, last name, email, and I name it as task status. In fact, I did not name it correctly, so let me put salary range, because I did not put it, and then here I'm now going to put task status. So everything you used in that form, that we just created should be what you should put here, which is very, very important. So all these things are here, but ensure that you know the name. Is that okay? So let's return back to our n8n, and then we'll now add the Google Sheet. So let's click on here and click on type sheet. All right, so click on Google Sheet, and then we are still going to add append or update row in a sheet. And so here we are going to set it up. Of course, you can see that the information I just filled has appeared here. So these are the credentials. You can choose it. If you have multiple sheets, you can choose it, but this is the one we have been using. I would leave it at that stage. So the resources share with Google Form, leave it like as it is, and then come to document, click on choose, and then we are going to choose. Okay, I think we did not choose the right form, so let me click on here and choose this one, and then click on here, and then it's still going to bring us this. You can see that I did not choose the right credential, the right form. It did not bring it. So the day 5 n8n test is exactly what we have here. Is that okay? So please ensure that you are doing it correct. So we now put the 5 n8n test, and then the sheet as well. Remember, I told you that if you have multiple sheets, you will see them here, but we have only sheet 1, and there's only sheet 1 that is going to appear here. Is that okay? So choose sheet 1, and then I think that's all. That's that. Now let's go down, and the next thing to do is mapping. Of course, you know that the mapping is here. Is that okay? Now remember that in this status, we did not fill the status from the form. We did not fill the status, but we are going to map everything. So because when we were filling that form, there was no place for status for us to fill. You can see that here we did not have status. And why is it so? Is because we want to determine the status of their task. Is that okay? Whether they are supposed to pay tax or not, it's supposed to be determined by us using their salary range and not by them. And that's why when we filled, you could not see that status, this thing here. So but we are going to determine it from here, so that the n8n is going to automatically detect it for them. Is that okay? So let's do the mapping simply. Click on here. Of course, you should know how to do that by now. And then the last name, you can now put this, and then this you can now put it here. Sorry, the email, put it here, and then the salary range will now put it here. So because we could not fill the task, all right, you can see that the task is empty, and there's no variable here to pick and fill the task. So we are going to do what we call expression. Is that okay? We are going to fill it by ourselves, so you can be able to determine it by itself. And to do that, we do what we call expression. Now let me explain expression in a very simple way, so that you can be able to understand it. Now, what is expression? Expression is a small instructions that tells an AI what to do. So you are writing it yourself. You are telling an AI what to do. So think of it like a simple rule to a computer. If someone say hi, then say hello. You must have seen some of these things on the internet when you chat maybe a particular AI on the website, and of course when you chat, it replies, you chat, it replies. So the information that the owner gives to it to keep responding to the user is what we call an expression, and you type it yourself. It's in form of a mathematical expression. Is that okay? So it helps AI make decision. So simple meaning is expression is like a magic instruction card that tells another what to listen for, what to do. If I'm hungry, give me food. Is that okay? So if I tell my AI I'm hungry, the AI is supposed to give me food. Why? Because I already told the AI that if somebody comes and said I'm hungry, you should give the person food. Is that okay? So that's a simple instruction, simple explanation for that. And then let's return back here. So to do that, we'll open this expression, and then we'll now come here. So I will type in something here, and I will show you, explain to you how it's being written. All right, so inside of the task, we want to now start writing our expression. So to start writing your expression, you have to use a curly bracket. So on your computer, a curly bracket is beside the P. On my own PC, is beside the P. So just click your shift key and click it twice. Is that okay? When you click it twice, you see what happened. It returns back to this, and of course we have some things here. These are called functions. We are not talking about functions today, right? But once we proceed, we'll talk about it. Is that okay? But I want you to choose if. All right, so we are saying that we are telling the AI that if somebody feels something, this should happen. Are you understanding me? So we just put if, and then we are now going to bring in the person. If somebody who feels that maybe whose salary is 800 plus should do this, Is that okay? So our variable we are using is salary, because the salary we are using to determine the status of that taxpayer. Is that okay? So we are not putting anybody's name, we are putting this variable so that anybody at all that puts his salary here will be determined for it. Is that okay? So we'll click on the if and bring it to the center, ensure that it's in the center. Okay, so sometimes if it's not opening, if it's not clear like this, I want you to click on here to open this expression completely so that you can be able to see it clearly. Is that okay? So we'll now pick this salary and then put it in the center here. You can see what happens. Is that okay? You can see what happens. It says salary JSON, salary range, and it's happened. It shows this kind of bracket. So now let's continue. So this is how it's going to be, but let me explain to you how it is. Now let me Control Z to show you how I got here. When I actually pick this salary range to this side, it actually includes this square we are seeing, this particular one here. Please, this square is not needed. Is that okay? And that's why you can see that the expression is in red. And if it's in red like this, it means that it's not working. So whatever you are doing and you see that the expression is in red, it is not working. So let me remove it before I explain. So if I remove it, you can see that we now have it in green, showing that it's working. So what did I do? Immediately I open, let me show you is what I did actually. So I click, I bring in this by clicking on the shift and double clicking it, and then I choose this if like this. And then of course you can see here, and then I pick the salary range and then I put it inside, and then you can see that this thing here comes up. So I now delete it, and then I now come to the end and then put in this. So what is this? I say if the salary range of the person who is filling the form is equal to, you are using equal to, double equal to, not just one, double equal to. Why? Because we are trying to say if it is this, not equal to this. Is that okay? If it is this. So if the person is collecting up to 600k, so you are choosing the value that is among the salary range in the drop down that you created from that form, right? Just choose any of them. So but me, I choose 600k because I fill the form that I have, I earn through 600k plus. That's okay. So here I think there's a mistake I did here. I did not put a plus because we have plus here. Is that okay? So if it's 600, and you also need to, before you put the 600, put it in double quotes. You can see we have double quotes like this, and then comma to pay tax. So if the person is earning 600k plus, the person should be able to pay tax. Is that okay? So just put it as to pay tax, and then comma again in double quotes again, then if not, no tax. Is that okay? If the person is not earning up to 600k plus, he should not be able to pay tax, and if he's earning up to that, he should pay that. So I don't know if you understand clearly what I'm explaining. Let me explain it again. So if you put this double quote here, this particular quote, then put if, of course I showed you how to select it from the drop down up, and then you pick your salary and put there, and then you put double equal to by click space. So click on space and click double equal to and put it here, and then put space again and double the double parenthesis, not double parenthesis, double quote here, and put the amount. If the person is earning this amount, this is what should happen, and then close the double quotes, and then say comma, space again, and double quotes again to pay tax. So if it's any 600k plus, you should pay tax. If it's not, comma, then you give a space again, no tax. Is that okay? That's how it is. So let me delete this, and we are done with this. So this is what you'll be doing for expression, especially when you are trying to give the AI as the direction yourself. Is that okay? So that's what expression is all about. So we are done with it. You just to click. I actually brought this up so they can be able to know how to do it. So let me click on here, and you can see that it is here already. So with that, we are done with this. Is that okay? We are done with this. We can now click on cookie. So you can now see here, I don't know why it's still like this, because it was supposed to work already, but let me refresh it and see, because if you refreshed it and we did what is correct, it's supposed to choose a green tick. So let's see how it's working, and we'll see if it shows a green tick. If we did it correctly, it should be able to show a green tick. So you don't have to, okay, so it's correct, everything is working. See that thing disappears. So if it's not working, you can just refresh that like I've just done. Now the next thing is to now add a switch. this switch here that can differentiate these two things. All right, so to add a switch, we click on our node as usual, and then here we type switch. Okay, this is the switch. All right, now this is the switch. We can now configure the switch, but let me close it first, and then you can see that this is the switch. Forget the fact that this switch is different from this one. They are the same thing. Is that okay? So let's double click it and set it up. So we'll click on it like this. Let me double click it. All right, so let me click on outside, double click it and open it. So the switch has what we call rules and routing rules. Is that okay? So it has what we call rules and routing rules. So what are the rules? The rules are still the same. If the salary is this is what should happen. If the salary is this is what should happen. So we are just going to drag it on form submission. We are not going to put anything or type anything, don't worry. So we're just going to open our on form submission, and then if the salary range, the salary is what we are putting as a variable, and then we put it under this value, and then we say if the salary is equal to, let's click on here, and then we can now type 600k plus. Is that okay? So that is that. And we want to add another rule. You can add another rule that say if the salary, again bring in the salary, is equal to, okay, you can say if is equal to I don't know what we feel from that form. Let me see our form. Okay, we can't see the form at the moment, but let me just choose 900k, because 900k plus. I don't know if it's plus, but we'll put it here. All right, so if the salary is equal to this, is that okay? So you can leave this, don't toggle it on, and just leave it like this. Is that okay? So once you are done, you can let's remove it for now. And all right, I think there's something we did not do. We did not actually check this if it will work in, because it was supposed to test run it and see if it will give us the information here and actually show also the status of that task. Is that okay? So let's see, and everything is correct. Let's click on execute option and see. Okay, let's fill in another information, and let's just fill in, and then click on this, and then choose 600k plus and click on enter. We already have this, and we are having it here. So if I click on JSON, we should be able to have staff status salary range 600k plus. The reason why it's showing this 600k plus is actually the fact that we did not actually do it correctly, because if you can see that the salary range is 600k plus n8n. We did not actually do it correctly, and I think that's the reason why we are showing salary range 600, because it was supposed to show salary range and the status is maybe you to pay salary. Is that okay? To pay status. So let's scroll down. So the reason why it's not showing, I think the reason why it's not showing the right result is because we were supposed to put 3 equal to and not just 2. I just found out that that was the reason why it did not. So you can see the expression is now taking a different look. So I wanted to correct it and make it look like this. So if you practice the other one, it did not work, please practice this. So the JSON, of course, the current testing page is like this, salary range double equal to with this particular one, and then to pay tax, all right, or not to pay tax. And what I also wanted to do is the double equal, the double how they call the double quote that I use, I change it to 1. The double equal to I also change it to 1 in order to make it work. Is that okay? So that is that. It will work if you actually put it like this. So let's try to execute it. In fact, while you are doing it, you will see the result here. You see the result here. It means that if I click on execute, this is the result that we're supposed to have here to pay tax. Is that okay? So here is we are already having the right result, and you can click on. So let's return back here and set this up. So here we were already setting it up, and you can see that we have here, and we can now click on enter. So when you click on, let me remove it, you can see that it has 2 nodes here. Because why? Because we put 2 values. These routing rules here are 2, 1 and 2. So the ones to not pay tax and the one that to pay tax. So the ones that are paying tax, what do you want them to do? Is that okay? What do you want them to do? So for the first one, we'll click on here, and it still send an email. We'll click on send an email, or sorry, not just put email, sorry, Gmail, because we are using Gmail as our root. So let's click on it as our note rather. Let's click on it and say send an email. So we'll click on send an email. Remember, you have to connect the email that you will be using. So you can click on it and then of course log in with your email just the way we have been doing it, so that n8n will be able to access that email and use it to send emails, right? So click on it and please click on I accept and click on continue, and let's see, it's currently going on. All right, it's connected successful, and the next thing to do is you can see we come here, you can see that we already have it here. You can want to create another email, put in another email, you can create credential, but let's use this one, result email, send email. Just leave it like this, and here what is the email that you want to send that message to? Remember, we are not sending it to a particular person, we are sending it to a variable. Is that okay? So and the variable is, let's click on here, and the variable is maybe the email. Is that okay? You're sending it particularly to this email, so anybody that fills that email will actually receive an email based on if he's paying tax or not. And what is the subject? The subject could be, let's say, tax status, or anything you want to make it look like. Is that okay? So tax status and all of that. So for email type, you click on it and choose test. Is that okay? Just leave it at test. And then what is the message? You can say dear. All right, and if you want to say dear, you will likely want to call them by their names. Is that okay? So to call them by their names, you can simply copy this variable and click here. Remember, we are not putting only somebody's name, we are putting everybody that is filling that form based on the form. Is that okay? So dear, you say, let's say I fill the form, you just say dear Dennis. If you are Joy and you're filling this form, the message will be sent to you as dear Joy. You can see that sometimes you receive email and they address you particularly. This is what was done from the back end. So let's scroll down again, and you can see here, and then I can now click on enter. I can say you are paying tax. All right, so you can just write them some message, and or you are not paying tax and all of that. So we can click on here and you can see everything is okay. So with this, I think we are done filling this particular form. I will now close it, and then here we also click on the second person, which is they are not paying form, right? So we'll now also put Gmail, and then come directly to send an email, and then we also have to set it up. This one is still under, it's already here. So let's say for this one again, we'll click on here, and then we'll also put our email, and then the wall is task status as well. That's a start status, and then for the HTML, change it to test, and then come here, you say, let's say dear, and they will also pick the name. If you want to address them by their last name, you can do that as well, and then click here and say you are not paying tax. All right, you are not paying tax. That is the message you're sending to them. So you can write all your message. If you want it to be long, please ensure that you take your time to do that. And with that, we can now click on here and close it. Is that okay? So you can see that this thing is actually working. And if I click on start execution and fill the form, it's actually going to start running from here to here to here to here. So let's try to practice it. So let's click on here, and I'll fill the form. I'll fill this form again like that if new person is filling the form. So just click on fill the form, and let me choose 800k instead and click on enter. Remember, okay, so you can see that's work from here to here to here, and then the next thing is supposed to choose whether it's this one or this one. But your assignment is, please practice exactly what I've done, and of course post on social media what you have done for day 5, and of course give your takeaway and put it in the comment section. React with 1 or 2 people in the comment section and talk with them, and of course negotiate, or discuss on what you have learned. I will talk to you in the day 6, where we'll be talking more about how to set up a proper workflow that is a bit long. Is that okay? I'll see you in day 6.